All right, hello everyone. I'm going to do a quick impromptu session here. I just created or worked with a bunch of people across the community around Power BI to generate a pretty cool tool that I'd like to introduce you to. So let me pull up some music here while we get going here on some work. All right, so you should be able to see my desktop. I'm going to jump right into the tool. The tool is called Quick DAX Templates, and I've been working with a number of people to kind of help build out how can we automate the movement of DAX and DAX features between different data models quickly. So we'll get into this demo right away. So first things first, how do we get this a new amazing tool? Well, you'll do that over here at the Business Ops tool. So if you don't know what Business Ops is an external tool installer that lets you build a bunch of tools very quickly and brings them all together in one single location. You can go get that at PowerBI.tips. I'll pull that up here really quick. And you'll be able to see where you can download Business Ops. So if you just Google Power BI Business Ops, we should be the first one on the list, and there we are. And so this is a downloader. It's an installer that sits on your machine. It'll add all the relevant external tools that you could ever need. I'm trying to collect them all across the community. We just released 2.4 today. And this contains the new tool from Didier. And here's his website. This is the tool we're going to be reviewing. Website here. This is an external tool called Side Tools. You may know about it. But we've been working with the team here to kind of build out what this would look like and how we would build this for DAX. So minimizing that. First thing you need to do is install this program. Once you have it, it does require administrator privileges to put Power BI Business Ops inside your machine. But once you have it, you can add the tool directly. So we're going to work on this one called DAX Generator. That's the tool we're going to be working through. You click the little checkbox, and I might as well add side tools while we're at it right here. I'm going to add the external tools, click install. It'll say installation was successful. Okay. We can move away from Business Ops, minimize that. And now you have to do a fresh install or a fresh startup of Power BI Desktop for those files to be captured. So those external tools will not show up if you have desktop open. You need to close down desktop and bring it back up again. And then once you bring it back up, you will have the new tools. So here in the external tools, you'll see, oh, I need my zoom it here. You'll see up here, we now have two new tools in the external tools ribbon called Power BI Side Tools and DAX Generator. So now what we can do is we need to build a little bit of data model here so you can see what's going to happen with this DAX generator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on sample data set. I'm going to load sample data. And I'm just going to let Power BI kind of just grab the information it needs. Not a big deal. I'm going to grab the financials and hit load. With this Power BI desktop, we'll go ahead and grab the financials table. And I have the auto date calendar time turned off here, so I'm just going to turn that on just so we have it in case we need it for this demo. Get on here to data load, turn on auto date time. Typically don't build with this, but for intents and purposes of the demo, we're good to go. All right, now I've got my tables. I've got my financials table kind of set here. Now I maybe want to make some DAX. So I could typically go into Tabular Editor or other tools as well to kind of modify these DAX equations. However, this new tool, DAX Generator, allows you to click the tool, and this window pops up to ask you to select a Power BI desktop file. We're not going to do that. We're going to let it auto-detect the tabular model on this file. So I'll hit cancel here. And what this will do is it will run up. It'll automatically connect to the data model because the data model is being passed into this tool for us. And it has a bunch of built-in templates. So the idea here is I'm actually going to go to this other option for user templates. So these are ones that I can create or I can go download. So funnily enough, I actually happen to have a GitHub page that will have a bunch of templates on it for you. So this is something I've been working on for a while now. Last couple of weeks, I've been frantically building templates. I've been so excited about this. I've been wanting to show everybody how this tool works. So if you go to GitHub and you look for PowerBI.tips DAX Templates, that's the templates you're going to be looking for. This is going to be a GitHub repo of a bunch of templates that we've already generated. I've taken a bunch of examples from Chris Webb, Daniel, David Eldersveld, Matt Allington, and I've made a couple myself. So what I'll do is I'm just going to download this so you can, we can go use this information. So go over here to the repo. I'll go over here. I'll just download the zip file. And now I'll have all these templates. So I'm going to extract all of this, extract all. And what that'll do is it'll open up a folder and say, here's all the DAX templates. Now that we've got those open, we can just go right into the templates folder. So in the templates folder, here's all the different files. And for examples purposes here, I'm going to go into the one that I created, and we're going to go into just a very simple count rows function. So this is a JSON file that I can just click and drag right in here to the user templates. And now I have this thing called count rows. So let's just walk through this application. What this is doing is this is a template file. So this template allows you to enter the information in about what this DAX measure will be. In this example, the measure name will be the count row of the table name. You'll see that there's an underscore table name here. The underscore table name is delineating to me that this is a property, this is a parameter, and I can see that parameter showing up here right below it. So I don't have to touch it, I can kind of just leave it alone. So under the table name where it equals table, I can just click on this option. And then right here, you'll see that it opens up a window on the right-hand side. And in this window, I have the ability of seeing the date tables that were automatically added for me. And I actually have the financials table of my data model right here. So it's intelligent enough to know that I'm selecting a table. So I'll click the financials table, and you can see right here, the parameter of table name is now being transferred to the financials table. And I click, well, before I go click generate here, there are a couple extra things here as well. So inside the description, you can see what is the author's description of what this measure does. This one creates a single measure that counts the rows in a table. It tells you who the authors are, and it will give you any URLs or support URLs that may describe more or have a blog post around what that DAX measure or function may be doing. Some of the more elaborate ones, there's actually one here by, I think it's Chris Webb, where he does stars or star rating as SVG images or varchars inside the Power BI data model. So that's another one you could use as well. It also has instructions. So it tells you what you can do with it. If it's step 1, step 2, step 3 kind of thing. And then in the output, this is the template. This is what is being used to generate this code. Okay. Now that we have all this together, we can now click the generate button. And now what we have is a text editor window. It shows me my measure at the top here, and then gives me some commented area here at the bottom saying, hey, this is where this measure came from. Now I like putting a little return here and enter between the two items, count rows of financials and count rows of financials, or sorry, count row of financial table. So you see it actually replaced my parameter name. So it actually renamed the measure to automatically match what was given to me as the parameter, which is great. I hit create or update, and it's going to ask me, hey, you're going to make a measure. Where's the parent table? Where do you want to put this thing? So we're going to put it back in the financials here. So I'm going to click on financials again, and it'll give me a little message here that says, hey, count of row financials has been created in the financials table. Great. So I can minimize this. I go right back over to my DAX table here, and inside my financials table, you can see now I've got my measure. It's automatically injected. So based on the selection criteria, it was able to auto inject and make my measure and put it directly in the model. So that's the tool. That's how you consume it. So I'm going to show you how to build a template here in a minute because, you know, this is a very simple example of a measure, but maybe we need to do one more measure here as well. So I'm going to try another measure. Hopefully I pick a good one that's working here. And the plan here is to spend a little bit of time each morning. I'm going to try and spend some time each day working with you and kind of showing you how I'm building these templates and a couple more videos around this whole DAX template generator thing, because I think this is really powerful and it gives you a lot of capability of what you can do. So let's do another template real quick here. So I'm going to go back over to the DAX generator, and I'm going to go grab another template. So I'm going to open up my files here, and I'm going to go back into my templates, and I'm going to go in here and say, let's go grab another template. And this time we're going to go grab one from, I think Chris Webb has some interesting ones. And I think I have this one here. He started with the scale of 1 to 5 in a column. I think I want to do something from a star ratings with a normalized column. So this is going to normalize the data. So I'll grab the template, drop it in here. And this time, if I click on star ratings, you'll see there's a lot more items in this template. So you can create the measure name up here at stars. And there are 2 columns that are required. You need to add the star column, which is a table and column value. And then you need the total number of star counts, which is over here at 6. That's a default parameter. So it's defaulting to 6 stars that it will try to show you. Hopefully this works. We'll give it a try. So I need to pick a column that I'm going to put some data around. So it's going to be this measure and explains down here below. Let me cancel out of this. Down here, it explains what this quick measure is doing. This quick measure will score a rating filled of stars in the example in the report. A table called restaurants and a numerical column is required. And then it's going to use the DAX varchar function to fill in the number of stars that you have. So we'll click on that column again. We'll grab the table and column name. Let's just try to go after the, hopefully the sales column. Try that one. We'll hit generate. And here it generates all this code. So you can see here that the financial sales table has been added multiple times inside this measure. And you can also see that here in the middle, the scale minimum and maximum are at 6. So it actually does a bunch of calculations for you. And now I have the return statement, and down here at the very bottom, this is where we create the stars that are filled in and the stars that are not filled in. So if I hit enter here, this will grab my financial sales table. So I'm going to hit create and update, hit financials, and now it just creates the stars measure inside my model. So now let's go use it. There's my stars measure here. And now what I should be able to do is I should be able to grab a dimension like a country, and let's turn it into a table. And then I should be able to add the stars column here. Now, it automatically knows that this is formatted in a way that's going to do stars. So it's just that easy. Drop in the column, you're able to automatically make the stars show up. And so you can see right here, the formatting is already showing up here, and it's already telling it to be text. So the data category is correct. And there we go. We have a stars column, and it's actually ranking those stars and showing the values there. Now, this is probably not very fun data, because it's trying to normalize the data across all the data points there. So if I brought something else, maybe if I did something, let's go by product, and then we add the stars to that. Still kind of all the same. So it's kind of flattening out the data at this point, but the measure should be working. And if I had a column, let's just make up some data here. We'll just make up a little bit of data. We'll just go product A, B, and C, and then I'll just give it a star rating between 1 and 5. So we'll go 1 star, 3 stars, and we'll go 5 stars. And this will be my table for stars. Okay, I'm just going to make a data table here really quick, and I'm just going to put this as a category. And then this other column will be a numerical column. So this will be my star rating number. Okay, so now that I have those 2 columns, I can then hit load, and it'll bring the data to the data model. So let's just start with a clean page here, brand new page, table stars. So now let's add another measure into this table. Now this time I want to change the name of the stars column because it will update the old one. So what I'm going to do now is go back into generator, go back over to the stars, click the back arrow here to go back to the main area. And let's go back up here. It still keeps all the old data. So let's call it stars. Let's rename it here, stars number 2. So I'm just going to change the name of the template here. Oh, actually, you know what? I wanted a different template. So let's go, sorry. I meant to go to this. Open my folder up, back into templates, go back into Chris Webb's templates. Let's use the one in the scale of 1 to 5. And you can also see here in this GitHub repo, I actually have an example. So Chris Webb actually provided us a nice little PBIX file of this measure in action. So I actually included that sample PBIX file so you can see how it works in this file as well. Again, I'm going to drag my measure back over, and there we go. We can see we have a new star rating from 1 to 5. So I'll click on this one, and this one's just going to take the stars and then the star column again. So let's just rename this one stars, new, and then the star column will be, now we're going to go to our new table we just created called table stars, and we're going to grab the column that has a numerical value in it for star rating number. I'm going to click generate, and then just so I can read it a bit easier here, I'm going to comment on this a little bit. There we go. So now we can see that we have our new table that has already been added. So that's our new table and star rating. It's going to take the average of that number, and then it's going to try to give me the total star count, and then it will then calculate out how many filled stars and unfilled stars we need. Okay, we're going to hit create an update. We're going to put it in our stars table, and boom, there it is. That's it. It's as easy as it is. Stars new is already showing up. So we'll put our categories on the list here. There's our ABC categories. It's kind of small, so that's our categories. And then I'll add the stars new to that right here. And I must have an issue with my DAX statement. Oh, it doesn't like my data types. I must have screwed up the data type. looks like my total star count is going negative here. I must have to fix this DAX measure. So I will fix the DAX measure in the future. Let's try that. The repeating value does not like negative values, and I think that's what's going on there. There we go. So there it is. We've got a category, and then we have a new column called stars new. So this is some simple DAX. So I now know I need to go back and fix my DAX statement here. So I'll go make sure I go edit that out and flip around this measure here, that one, because it was going negative on the repeating values for the repeater. And that's it. That's pretty much the tool in a nutshell. It allows you to easily come in here and you have the quick external tools. Click on the DAX generator. It loads right up, and you can go find templates off of the GitHub repo. We're going to see if we can figure out a better way of searching through these templates and making it easier for you to generate them. A couple other things I'll point out about the tool. We'll probably do some more instructional videos about this in the future, but you can click the little file folder here, and you can actually open the templates file folder. So what you can do here is you can actually open up the location of this, and you can make new folders here. So I can say new folder, my star measures can go right in here, and then you can grab those and organize them right up there into that area. You can also do, aggregations or whatever kind of folder name you want to name. Aggregations. And then we can move our count rows aggregation in there. And so what will automatically happen is inside DAX generator, you can see that it's already making folders and organizing my measures are things that would be using common uses for those measures. All right, so we've kind of discussed like where these templates are and how to use them. I'm not going to show you the file type of the DAX templates, but I will show you how to make them. So this is pretty cool. You may have some common DAX measures that you're going to use over and over again. How do we make a template? So let's go over to another page here. Let's go down to this one, and we will go to DAX.PowerBI.tips. And so we have a brand new tool, surprise, surprise, where we can go in and we can make our own templates now. So now we can do other things that would be repetitive and build out new templates for ourselves. So let's just, for arbitrary sake here, let's just build a new template around making a sum on top of a numerical column. So this template will be a simple sum, like this. We can go into the description and type in anything we want here. This can describe what the measure is going to do. Creates a sum on top of a numerical column. If I could spell. And then here we have this thing called a parameter. So we're going to pick like some kind of column from the data set. So what I typically like to do is I like to name this what I'm going to be using. So this will be a table column combination because we're going to use the sum function. So I would just say table column, something like this. And if I'm going to have multiple parameters, you can easily do that. You can enter the parameter name. So again, just to make sure it's clear, I'm going to make table column is my parameter name. I can then set a default value if I wanted something like that. In this case, I don't need one, not required. But I can write a description for the parameter. So I could say creates a sum of a column. And then we can say, okay, what kind of data type is this going to be coming in as? Well, this is going to be a column, so it's a string format. So we'd say this is going to be a string. And then we're going to grab from the data model a table column combination. Now, if this is just one parameter, if I wanted to add multiple parameters, I'd go down here to the add parameters button to click that, and then we'll add a second parameter that I could use in my data model or into the measure that down below that I'm going to build. So now I'm in the encoding section. This is where I would build my measure. So off the top of my head, I'll just build my simple sum of a column like that. And then now I'm going to write the expression. So I have to start with the equal sign. So it's the equals and then sum. And this is the sum function from DAX. And then here I'll enter in what I think that parameter should be. So this is the table column syntax. So what I'll do over here on the right-hand side, you'll see I have this evaluated expressions area. This kind of shows me what I've been building. And right there, I can see under my DAX parameters, boom, I got an item right there that I can go use. So if I double click on the table column, Control C that, copy it, put that in my measure, close the parentheses, and now it says, oh, look at this. It's actually showing me what the actual product of the parameter inside my DAX statement. So it gives me like an output of, this is the expected output that we're going to do. Once we have that, we can add a description here. creates a sum on top of a column. We could also place this in a folder, or we can have other options. So hide the measure by default. You can pick which options you want to use here. So we're going to format this with a whole number because this is a sum, so it could be decimal number. So I'll make it a decimal. Actually, you know what? I'll leave it general for now. It doesn't matter. We can use parentheses for negative values. No. Do I want to use a 1,000 separator? Yes. And then we apply some sort of tagging to this. You know, what kind of tag is this? So this is an aggregation, filter, time. Is this a total? This would be like a total. So I'll just put it as a total. This is one of the tags. I'm hoping in the future I'll be able to build some kind of filtering so you could kind of see what's been created. And then in the future, when we build a gallery around this kind of stuff, we'll have the ability to let you filter by tag. The author is going to be Mike Carlo. And then here we can write in the instructions. Select a column from your data model. That's really basically all we're doing for this one. You could add a support URL if you want, if you had documentation or other things about this measure. And then once you're done, you can just hit download file. That will create my simple sum measure. I now have a file that's aptly named with a GUID so it doesn't bump into other files you have, but you can just drag that file directly over to DAX Generator, and there we go. This is my template. I've been able to read that template now and I say, there it is, sum of a column. Here's my column name. So I can go over here and say, okay, we're going to go to the column called sales. Let's do that. And maybe I want to change this name, sum of sales, maybe. I can just rename it here, sum of sales, if that makes sense. And then I can go over here to the generate function. It will then execute the generate. It'll say, this is my sum of sales measure, created with the sum, and then give you the output of whatever that syntax is. We'll go here at the end, hit enter a couple times to space that out a bit, and then we'll hit create and update. Assuming I did everything correctly, it's going to ask me where I want to put it. So since the sales came out of the financial table, I'll put it in the financials table, and that's it. We can minimize this, and then we go back over to our financials table, and there we go. Sum of sales has now been created, and we can start using that in our data model. So I created the template, but now I can give this template to anyone else, and they can just use the sum of sales wherever they're going to use that. So imagine, handing more complex relationships or columns in front of that you're going to build. As you build those complex DAX measures, now this is a fully extensible, fully parameterized DAX statement where I can hand it to anyone in any data model, and you can pick any kind of combination of columns or measures and load those DAX measures directly into your report. So I think this is really pretty cool and pretty interesting relative to what we're going to be able to do now with this. And so I think it's going to be very cool to see the community build any kind of DAX templates that they're going to produce. And feel free to. I'm looking for help, actually. So I'm going to do as many as I can within reason. But I'm going to go out to the community. And if you want to, go find PowerBI.tips DAX templates. Take a branch off of this. Build some templates. I'll add some more README information here later on to kind of explain how to build templates and such. But as we're starting to build the documentation around this, feel free to try it out. Hopefully this video has been a bit helpful to kind of get you started on building some DAX templates. With that, this is a short video. That's all I wanted to show. A new tool coming out. We're going to do more videos about this in the future, but we hope you like it, and we'll see you around next time. Thank you very much.